of people who are already committed to not supporting you. Sometimes you really have to shift your mindset. And also, I know that people have different values and different beliefs. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel if you are returning, and welcome for anyone who is new here. My name is Michelle. I talk about things related to mental health or maybe beauty, and I really need to start fashion videos, but I'm really not even gonna get into that. Today's video is just my quick little input on how I feel like we need to normalize rest in our society in order to create more successful people, more empathetic people, more genuine people, and less performative people. Because we do live in this world where anyone can look like they care online, but it's just like you can type anything behind a computer screen and not mean it, you know? Okay, so I changed into another shirt that looked better to me. And yeah, I'm just gonna jump right in. So I've been thinking about making this video for a while, to be honest. Only because I saw a tweet about how when people work really hard non-stop, they really need 2 to 3 years of rest, like to recover from burnout. And I found that interesting because I feel like I always go through this cycle with 9 to 5 jobs where at first, well, one, I need to just do better at making decisions. I will do things impulsively without really thinking it through, and then I have to navigate through whatever because I didn't take my time. So I'm learning that. But yeah, it's just a bit crazy because I not only at one point was working a job that was extremely stressful and it demanded a lot from me, but I also was braiding, which demands a lot as well. And it was absolutely exhausting. And I found myself thinking, wow, I'm just gonna braid one person a month, instead of braiding a person each day after work or each weekend every day. But I didn't want to come off as lazy or not motivated to other people, because I really did care about what other people thought, and I wanted people to think that they could depend on me. I'm reliable. You want people to feel like that, especially in your relationships, but you have to learn that you cannot please everyone. And no matter what you put yourself through to make others happy, it still may not make them happy. You can't really decide how people will take the things that you do for them. So I feel like if you're someone who is used to taking care of other people, this video is for you. I'm just gonna read this excerpt from this article, and it's titled "Taking a Break from Work and Why You Need It" by Elizabeth Scott, and they have a PhD. So what they're saying, it sounds good to me. The excerpt I'll read says, "When you take a break, you're not shrinking responsibility. You're taking care of yourself so you'll have the stamina to be your best. By learning how to watch for the signs that you need a break, you'll be able to schedule some time away that will help you feel more refreshed and restored." And I love that they use the words refreshed and restored, because that's exactly what it feels like when you completely rest. And for me, I did take a couple of days off of work, but I didn't actually rest because I was still thinking of what could I do for YouTube. And I did post a very short vlog. I didn't upload everything that I vlogged because the experience just wasn't even what I thought it would be. And so I thought that I would be like in the middle of nowhere, and I would be in this detached studio of a person's home that they use for Airbnb. But things were presented much differently. I don't sleep in. I have a bad habit of not sleeping in because I still am unlearning this need to like always be producing something for other people. And I'm trying to just embrace the process of learning YouTube and just finding my niche and figuring out what I'm good at and what I enjoy the most. Like, I do a million things, to be honest, just because I just like to do it. And I also feel like it helps me heal my inner child, because when I was younger, I'm not going to say I didn't have a childhood, I did, but I also went through years and years of abuse that I won't get into, but I feel like I'm able to kind of heal my inner child by doing things that I once loved doing and not worrying about will I get paid for it. And it's like, yes, I'm broke, yes, I'm struggling and I'm stressed, but I feel like through learning and getting better at things, if I'm meant to make something a career, it will be a career. Until my health is back where it really needs to be, which it has been much better, I feel like I've been looking really like tired or sad or stressed or whatever, and I have been, but it's like I work in the nonprofit industry, and that in itself is like extremely stressful. Anyone who works in nonprofit, I mean, working is just stressful. Like, I don't want to make it seem like, you know what I'm saying, but to still be a part of a community that needs so much healing and so much support and so much like patience, care, understanding, and people just think that like this thing will solve it, that thing will solve it, and no one actually addresses the mental health. So it's like, I'm glad that people are getting fed, I'm glad that their kids can go to the doctor, but what are you gonna do about the kids who do have diagnoses? Like, what are we doing? And I just feel like everyone is tired, everyone is burnt out. Like, inflation is really messing us up, and yet everyone still wants to have this facade of being luxurious, being wealthy. And it's like, for me, my little tiny 1-bedroom apartment is luxury because I've been on the brink of homelessness. I haven't been homeless actually, but it's just like, to me, this is luxury because I'm out of a place I didn't want to be living in, which is where I grew up. And you know what I'm saying? It may not be the 30th floor balcony, whatever, but for me, it's one step up. It's something that I was looking forward to, and I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to see what's next as I work on the things I need to work on, like my mental health and my overall health and everything like that. But it was a point where I was like so sick, I had to keep canceling hair clients, and I just felt like, damn, I know I'm known now for being unprofessional because I'm used to saying, okay, well, I'll braid start at 7 a.m. and I'll keep going. But when you work a job that requires taking care of other people, and then you do something else that, like, I feel like people think like hairstylists don't do a lot, but when you do someone's hair, that's them being vulnerable. Okay, so what I was trying to say is, when you braid and you have different people coming in, you'll have people who are very skeptical. They have to, you know, look at their hair every 5 minutes. They're not really talking to you. They're nervous. They don't want to be in pain. You know, they're flinching just from having past experiences. You could tell this person is not that open. Whereas you may have someone that comes in and they're like, hey girl, like, you know, I want you to do my hair. They're talking, they're putting a show on the TV. You know what I'm saying? They're doing everything. They're opening up about their life. Like, I feel like, I mean, I've experienced things like I've braided someone's hair who they lived in like a hoarder home, because one of their parents was like extremely sick, and they were young but had to take on all this responsibility. So it's just like, you never know the circumstances that other people are going through. And I feel like people, like, no one wants to be looked at as a bad person, because that's what society teaches you, is don't be bad. But what I realize sometimes is that people take the word bad and they associate that with people who have boundaries, or people who are okay with saying no to certain things. And they turn around and say that this person is rude, and it's just like, no. This person knows that they're okay with not doing what society wants them to do or what other people want them to do. And I think that it's very important for anyone to express just what they feel, especially when it comes to work, because I don't know what kind of jobs like my subscribers have. Like, no one ever comments on my videos, so comment and let me know. But for me, I'm a program coordinator, but with my job, that means I'm like the main admin person, but I still do like recruitment, outreach, program management, blah blah blah. Like, I just do everything. And I realized that I would see like other people, because we have different offices all around the country. Well, I think international as well. But anyway, people normally took breaks, and they were like, you're not going to take a break, like, you have all this vacation time. And so right now I have 8 vacation days, even after the 2 that I'm using next week. So I was never brought up with the mindset of even taking a break from work. It's just like, we're poor, you need to work, you need to figure a way out of this. But what I realized is that poverty is a cycle, because people often think, like, I saw this quote somewhere about how there may be a man that needs boots for work, like really good boots, but he's poor. So if he sees the $200 boots versus a $50 pair of boots, of course he's going to take the $50 boots, because he feels like that's all he can afford. But the $50 boots will break fast, so he'll keep going back to replace them. And by the time he replaced them enough times, he could have got the $200 boots. And so that's the logic that I'm really trying to live by, because I grew up extremely poor. So like, I've never in my life seen, except when I got laid off. I saw a couple of thousand in my bank account at once. Just because, like, yeah. Anyways, I've never been someone who's made a lot. So like my 4.5 years of college, for the first 4 years, I made $8, and then my last semester I started working at the Starbucks and Target, and so I made $11, and I think that went up to $12 before I left. And I used to feel like, okay, I'm just gonna keep working, but when I made that $8, oh, I was always at work because I needed to at least make every bi-weekly 200 something. And for me, it was like that's all I had. And there were a lot of misconceptions about me when I was in school, that I had all this money all of a sudden. And I'm like, sweetie, I'm going to Westfield, I'm going to Rainbow, one of those stores, and I'm gonna make my little $200 work. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like people really don't normalize how much, like, they're struggling or how hard life is. Instead, everyone wants to prove that they can own designer, which I don't know why black people be buying designer, because like, y'all know these people don't like y'all, and we have so much buying power. It's crazy. Like, if we just decided to only support black owned businesses and no one else, if we could just all learn to be patient, you know what I'm saying? But it's hard because we do live in a country where convenience is most important. Health is not important. Mental health is not important. Safety is not important. Everything's about convenience. And so people would rather get something that is cheap and like crappy because they can get it tomorrow versus waiting a week or two. But I don't know. It's tough. I don't want to seem like I'm judging anyone because I definitely am very impatient. Like, for me, I still like to go in person to go shopping, but what I'm realizing is nothing out there. And I miss the experience of just going to stores. Even if you go to like boutiques, it's like small businesses are not necessarily disappearing, but I like the idea of a small business that is like a family grocery store on a corner, and then it stays for generations. Not selling. I'm not even gonna get started. I'm not even gonna get started. So I really want us to think about how closely our physical health and mental health tie into each other. I know for me, as someone who has dealt with depression for such a long time, sometimes I don't want to get out of bed, and I don't want to take a shower. I don't want to brush my teeth. I don't want to talk. I just don't. I don't want to exist. I don't want to be perceived. I just don't want to have any obligations. Like, no. I want to sleep, read, and just rest. And I realize that sometimes I drive myself into that state, as a lot of people do. As someone, I don't know if it's like my ADHD, my anxiousness, or that I'm an Aries, but I cannot sit down. And it's only when I'm really, really burnt out, frustrated, tired, that I'll sit down. And I've been trying to be okay with not producing something, because I feel like also it's hard too, because I'll be around a lot of people that I support and I'm there for, but it's like for the most part, a lot of people won't support you back just because they feel like it has to be a competition instead of us encouraging each other. So it's just very frustrating to me how this whole false narrative of um working hard. There are so many people who are millionaires that didn't work hard. They just inherited money. And when we started talking about generational poverty and how slavery records are gate kept, so people can't really know like where they're coming from and who that has money, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know, I just think that if you are tired, you should rest. And posting just to post but not having any real motivation behind it, to me is like worse than not posting, because I don't really like when I have things that flop. But I'm also like, I don't like to like repost. So like I want to know when is the best time to post or the best time frame to post, and I'm hoping that that's okay. But I get so frustrated with how everything is like so robotic, as if we're not human beings. And it's like we start to treat each other like we're not human beings, and then everyone is frustrated, and it's like we're all people. People are clumsy, people make mistakes, people are here to learn, you know what I'm saying? I feel like sometimes it is about learning. Like that's what life is. You just learn and then you apply it, and then you keep pushing, and then you figure out a way to apply other things that you learn, and that is life. But I'm tired of everyone pretending that they're not tired or they're not sad or they're not hurting. We can't really live in like delusion and expect for things to get better. But you also can't wear yourself down to get the approval of people who are already committed to not supporting you. Sometimes you really have to shift your mindset. And also, I know that people have different values and different beliefs. And one thing I'm coming to believe as someone who has been working since they were 12 years old is that if I don't want to do something, I'm not going to do it. And no one is going to make me feel guilty for not doing it. And this is hard. This used to be something that was hard for me to do, because deep down I would feel like, wow, like I don't care. But I wanted to care for other people, or I would care what other people felt, and I didn't want to hurt their feelings. But it's just like, you really have to choose yourself, because at the end of the day, that's really all you will have. And people will put these impossible standards on you because they don't feel like they're anywhere near capable of doing the same things that they know you are able to do. So you do have to remember that when interacting with people. I realized that in the past, I was someone who always felt like I had to connect with people based off of things that I disliked, because I felt like so many people are angry. Like, and when you come to people saying, "Oh, I'm happy about this, I'm happy about that," people really don't want to hear it. And I'm not saying that people have to want to hear about what you are doing, but people would rather hear about some pain that you are in and what you're going through that is negative, versus you actually being positive and excited about something. And it's because of this culture of everyone feeling like it's a competition, and I have to try to make this money for my family. And especially, like I said in another video, like with young black people who are who have generational poverty, and they don't inherit a house, they don't, you know what I'm saying, they're not able to, okay, if their grandmother passes and she didn't pay her house off, they're not able to say, let's come in and take it. And I know people are working towards that, but also let's try to remember that life is so short, and yeah, just remember to give yourself a break, and that it's okay to rest. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.